The film begins in Europe for 2,000 years, and in that period humans were tribes, and they live on animal hunting. And we see this tribe crawling on the ground in the direction of a herd of Gwamis, so that the herd does not feel their presence. And Commander Tao stops the tribe and motivates his son, Kida, because it's the first time he goes out with him on a hunt. Then Tao orders his men to attack, and the herd, when they heard their voice, began to run in the direction of the tribe. But the tribe throws the spears on the ground strongly, so that they form a barrier of spears. So the buffalo herd is forced to change their direction, and they go towards the edge of the mountain, fall over it and die. But part of the herd stops and changes its direction, and one of the Juamis runs towards the young man as a chide, so he is afraid of a plot and running. And the buffalo hits Keda and expects him to the ground, and does not stop there, but returns. She attacks him again, and he is related to the buffalo horn. And the Tao throws the buffalo with the spear to save his son, but to no avail, and the buffalo throws a kin from the cliff, and we return a week before what happened. And we watch the youth of the tribe trying to make sharp daggers from the rock, and Commander Tao was the one who put this test for them. And whoever succeeds in the test will become a warrior and go out with the tribe to hunt animals. Then Tao inspects their daggers, and whoever made a non-sharp dagger would have lost, and only 2 young men passed the test. And they were able to make sharp and pointed daggers from the front. Among them was Kida ibn Tao. Then the hunters beat the 2 young men who passed the test to have a high endurance, and after a short time Tao orders them to stop, and goes to check his son's injury after the beating, and be proud of him, because he will be his support and help him hunt animals, and say to him, "You will be the leader of the tribe after me. I want you strong, and prove to everyone that you deserve to lead." After that, the tribe ritually joins the 2 young men who passed the test to the Sayadi battalion. The tribe. Then Ro, Tao's wife, is worried about her son, and tells Tao that Kida is still not ready to go hunting, and that she is afraid that he will die. But Tao does not agree with his wife, and tells her that Kida must go out hunting and bring food to the tribe. But Ru tells him that Kida's heart is good. He may not be able to kill animals. The next day, the tribe's fishermen say goodbye to their families in preparation to go out on a hunting trip. And Ro is very afraid for her son, so Tao tells her that Kida will prove that he is a strong hunter and deserves the leadership of the tribe, and will return to sleep in her lap. The fishermen set off, and after several days they camp at night in this place, and it appears that Kida still does not have many skills, so that he does not know how to light a fire. So Tao says to him, "Be patient and do not give up, and you will learn everything in his time." The next day they complete their journey and meet the tribe. Another, and its leader, and his name is Shai, and he was an old friend of Tao. Tao Shi knows his son Keda, and Shi says to Tao that he should be proud of his son, because he is obviously a brave fighter, and join the 2 tribes together on a hunting trip. And they relied on a group of rocks on the way, and they believed that their ancestors were from. They put these rocks, which will take them to the place of the animals they will hunt, and after the end of the hunting trip, the rocks will show them on the road, back to the tribe. Then the 2 tribes attack a pig, and it is hunted. And Tao orders Kida to kill the pig, but Kida hesitates and cannot do that. Tao says to him that you kill a soul to eat and live the tribe, but he will be kind-hearted and not kill the pig. So Tao intervenes and kills him. He tells his son that life is always for the strong, and that courage is a quality that we work on to acquire. At night, the 2 tribes rest and camp, and they eat from the pig they catch and hear. Tao, the voice of a predator, is approaching. So he orders the 2 tribes by focusing and preparing, and they stand holding their weapons, but the predator does not appear, and he remains hidden in the dark, so the 2 tribes think. He left, they sit down again, and suddenly he pounces. The lion kidnaps someone and runs away with him, and you hear the 2 tribes scream their colleague as he dies, and he is shocked. Kida, because the one who died was his friend, and in the morning, they put the rocks in that place in memory of the warrior who died there, and they continue their way. And one night, they camp inside a cave and paint Tao the stars on his son's arm, and tells him that it is the stars that will guide you to the place of the tribe. And he takes him out of the cave and starts teaching him how to follow the stars. And they see from afar a herd of wolves, and tells him that the leader should care with his men, but he is always in danger because his men may want to take his place and wait. The moment he weakens, and the leader must be strong and calm, and the leader is not born a leader. Rather, he gets his place with courage and love. And in the day, next Tao and Shi find a flock of waste buffalo. They understand that they are approaching, and indeed After a while, they find the herd, and everything we saw happens. In the beginning, Tao and hunters run towards the edge, mountain, and it turns out that Kida was clinging to a rock. Small, but it falls and hits the rocks until it falls. On a rock in the middle of the mountain and losing consciousness from collision intensity, Tao collapses on his son and tries go down to it, but the hunters prevent it and say it is impossible to reach him, and they ask him, accept reality and confirm that they have a duty towards the tribe by returning with food. Calm down, Tao, but he doesn't lose hope that he will be his son. He is still alive. The two tribes gather from buffalo. Food is enough for them for a year because winter come closer and there is no hunting in it. And he decides to come back with his tribe, and Tao remains sitting on the edge throughout. Today he feels that his son is still alive. And it comes, a member of the tribe tells him that they have to move, and that his son is dead, so Tao cries and puts the rocks in. That place commemorates the anniversary of Kida's death and comforts him. The members of the tribe, and then they all leave. And in the end, an eagle is approaching Kida's body thinking he is dead. As soon as he is shattered in his body, he wakes up and calls on his father loudly, and he looks around him and finds the distance down is too far, so he tries cautiously descend from the mountain, but he realizes that it is a difficult task. It remains attached and clinging to the rock until the night, and then it rains heavily. His hand skis and he can't hold the rock for a long time and ends up falling into the lake that was made up of rainwater, and the lake sweeps him to a distant place. He drinks a chid of rainwater, although it is not clean, but he was exhausted from thirst. Noticing that his legs, injured and crotted, he puts them between two stones, and he wraps his body to return the bones of his legs to her place. Normal endures pain, then moves with difficulty, and he returns to the place from which he fell and calls on the members of the tribe. But when he sees the rocks, the one there is shocked because he understands that the tribe thought he was dead, and he realizes that his father and individuals, the tribe left him. And the problem increases when he hears the sound of a herd of wolves. He moves, with difficulty to lose sight of them, and sleep his night above a tree to be safe from animals. Then he fills his bottle with water. It feeds on insects without noticing that the wolves saw him and approached him, and he ran immediately. And he climbs the tree, but a wolf grabs his leg. He beats him with a plan and climbs the tree and becomes safe. It turns out that Kida hit the lupus with the dagger and remains. The wolves are sitting under the tree watching him. The morning wakes up and finds that the wolves are gone. He makes a weapon from the dagger to defend himself. He was thinking of killing the infected lupus, but he hesitates as usual because of the kindness of his heart. So he decides to tie a rope around her mouth so she doesn't bite it and doesn't scream and call. The herd, carrying it and taking it to the lake, and he calms her wound and notices the approach of the hyena, so he carries the lupus and moves it to the cave, trying to ignite fire as Tao used to do, but it fails after several attempts. Then cut some plants and make. He has a prescription for his injured legs, and you succeed. Lupus in removing the rope from her mouth. So Kida decides, giving her water to drink, and despite his fear of her, he tries overcome his fear and say to her, I won't hurt you. I'm your friend, and I want to help you. In the beginning, the lupus is preparing to attack, but it calms down later. And drink water, and he will be happy. And with the passage of time, he earns her trust more, serves her food, and goes to catch a rabbit and return it to the cave, and try, again light a fire. He hits the lupus when you try to eat the rabbit before it matures. Then it finally succeeds in lighting a fire, grilling the rabbit and eating, and saying, for the wolf if she has to wait, then share it. Food. Then he makes other daggers, and sits with Wolf at night. You hear the howl of wolves and look. She misses her flock and she misses Kida for his family, but the injury prevents both of them from move. Kida looks at the stars he drew. His father is on his arm, which will lead him home, and he talks to the wolf and tells her that he dreams of his father every day, but he can't reach him, and that it's getting colder, and he doesn't know if he can from returning home and admitting that he is not brave like his father, but he must try to. His family misses him. After several days, he prepares his weapons and decides to leave the cave after his legs were healed, and he wanted to take his cloth, but the lupus prevents him because she doesn't want him to leave and leave her. He takes a kid, the cloth with difficulty, and he tells her that he should. He returns home before it starts to snow. She is also asked to return home. The lupus keeps looking at him without moving, and he leaves. Kida alone, but later we find out that she is following him. At night, he sits in front of the fire trying to heat. He continues his way home and notices that the lupus She follows him, so he asks her why she follows him and asks her, return to her flock, but she was attached with him and you don't want to leave him. He throws a stick on her and orders her to leave, but to no avail. Then you see the lupus, pigs from afar, so she decides to attack her to eat her, but the attempt fails. The next day, they try to catch another pig and succeed, Lupus chases the pig and Kida tries to kill him with a spear, and the friendship between them increases. And you love. The lupus sleeps next to him, and the next day, they go down to the water and play together and spend a beautiful time, and they become best friends. They catch fish together. Kida decides to name her Alpha. Then winter comes and they hunt. The last pig is left because most animals hiding from the cold. And one night, they are surprised by a large flock of wolves surrounding them. Alpha advances and communicates with the leader of the herd, and she asks him to leave, and he knows that she saved him and defended him, and he feels like she wants join her herd. Kida doesn't oppose that, and he orders her to go, but then he cries and cries because he has become lonely and continues his journey alone in the middle of snow. We then move on to Tao, Kida's father, who has reached the tribe and apologizes to his wife because he lost his son, so he rebuts his wife and screams. At the same time, Kida continues his way, hinting a group of wolves from afar, and when he checks, he notices that an alpha is between them, so he runs towards her, enthusiastically, but he is standing on a lake, icy, and unfortunately falls into it and drowns. Alpha tries to break the ice to save him and he comes out. Kida is a dagger and he hits the ice several times even. He succeeds in going out and takes his breath with difficulty because he was about to die. Alpha decides to stay to his side and never leave him again. Kida lights a fire. He takes off his wet clothes and warms up with an alpha. After a long walk, they find a frozen dead man in front of his tent. Kida enters the tent in search of food or anything that helps him, but he gets angry because there is no food, and he takes the bow and arrows from the frozen man, without knowing that these tools would save his life. They are then surprised by a herd of hyenas attacking them. Kida and Alpha flee and enter a cave and hide. And don't follow the hyenas, but it turns out that it's a cave. Tiger, and a fight broke out between the tiger and Alpha. He tries. Kida aims at the tiger and overcomes his fear and the cruelty of his heart, and succeeds in killing him. But 1,000, you are seriously injured. Kida thanks her for she saved his life, and he told her he wouldn't give up on her, never, and take care of her wounds all night. The next day they continue their way to the tribe, and Kida sees the rocks that his ancestors laid up. He makes sure that he is on the right track and that get close to the tribe. Despite the severity of the cold, they continue walking, but the infected Alpha falls and can't follow up. So he decides to save her as she saved him. He carries it and moves it. At night, in the middle of the snow, Kida thinks of giving up and dying, but dreams, with his father telling him that he is a strong young man. So he decides, continue to prove the truth of his father's words. He carries. Alpha continues to walk until he finally sees the features, the tribe from afar. Tao can't believe his eyes when he sees his son alive, while he falls from the intensity of fatigue. Tao is very happy and embraces his son, and Kida tells his mother that he was afraid not to see her. Again, he tells his father that he wanted to. He makes him proud of him. Tao responds that he is proud of him. Really, because only the strong can survive and live alone as he did. Kida points to Alpha and asks for help and treat. The tribe's doctor is injured, and suddenly she gives birth to Alpha, due to young people, and it is clear that she was pregnant all the time. This period, and yet I endured the severe cold, and the tigers fight. Kida appreciates everything she did from yes, and he tells her that they are finally in safety, and the tribe decides to consider the wolves as individuals from them and raise them to participate with them in trips hunting. Don't forget to like if you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of videos and you want it to continue.